You've seen it 100 times, your dog casually munching on grass like a tiny, four-legged lawnmower. But what's really going on in their mind when they do it? It's one of the most common and confusing behaviors in the canine world. One minute, your dog is playing fetch. The next, they're grazing in the backyard like a miniature sheep. And if you've ever wondered why, you're not alone. For years, pet owners and even veterinarians have debated the real reasons dogs eat grass. Is it an upset stomach, a nutritional deficiency, or is it something deeper, something tied to their ancient instincts and emotional world? The truth is, it's rarely just one thing. And understanding why your dog does this can tell you a lot about what they're feeling, what they might need, and even how their body is functioning. So let's pull back the curtain on this puzzling habit and uncover what your dog might be trying to tell you when they take a bite of your lawn. For a long time, the most popular theory was simple. Dogs eat grass to make themselves vomit. It sounds logical, right? If a dog has an upset stomach, they might instinctively seek out roughage to help purge whatever's bothering them. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, they do throw up afterward. But here's the twist. Research and observation have shown that the majority of dogs who eat grass don't actually get sick. In fact, less than a quarter of grass-eating episodes are followed by vomiting. So if it's not always about stomach issues, what else could it be? That's where things get interesting. Because when you look closer, you start to see patterns. Some dogs only eat grass at certain times of day. Others prefer specific types of grass, long blades, tender shoots, or even certain weeds. And many seem to do it almost happily, like it's a snack, not a symptom. So let's walk through the most compelling reasons, from the physical to the psychological, and see which ones might apply to your own furry friend first. Let's talk about instinct. Long before dogs were sleeping on our couches and eating from porcelain bowls, their wild ancestors consumed entire prey animals, including the stomach contents of grass-eating animals like deer or rabbits. That meant they were naturally ingesting plant matter on a regular basis. For some dogs, grazing may simply be a leftover behavior from a time when variety in diet was normal and necessary. It's not a flaw or a problem. It might just be a faint echo of the wild still living inside them. Then there's the digestive angle. While it's not always about vomiting, grass can still serve a purpose in your dog's gut. The fibrous nature of grass can help move things along, acting as a natural laxative if your dog is feeling a bit backed up. Think of it like roughage in our own diets. Sometimes the body knows what it needs. And for a dog that isn't getting enough fiber from their regular food, a little green supplement might be just the thing to keep everything running smoothly. But what about nutrition? Could your dog be seeking something specific? It's possible. If a dog's diet is lacking in certain trace minerals or enzymes found in fresh plants, they might be drawn to grass to fill that gap. This is more common in dogs fed low-quality commercial diets or those with highly restricted meals. The grass itself isn't particularly nutrient-dense, but for a dog with a sensitive system or a limited menu, it might offer something their body is quietly asking for now. Let's step into the mind of your dog. Because sometimes, grass-eating isn't about physical needs at all, it's about emotion. Dogs, like humans, can engage in behaviors simply because they're bored or anxious. If your dog is left alone in the yard for long periods with little to do, grazing can become a way to pass the time. It's something to sniff, something to chew, something to interact with. In other cases, it can be a self-soothing behavior, much like a person biting their nails or tapping their foot when they're stressed. If your dog tends to eat grass more often when there's tension in the house, or before a thunderstorm, or when left alone, you might be looking at an emotional behavior rather than a physical one. There's also the possibility that your dog just likes it, the texture, the taste, the crunch. Some dogs seem to genuinely enjoy the experience. Puppies especially explore the world with their mouths, and grass is just another interesting thing to try. For them, it's not a signal of trouble. It's just part of being a curious, alive creature in a world full of things to taste and test. So when should you be concerned? In most cases, occasional grass eating is harmless. But there are red flags to watch for. If your dog is eating grass frantically, obsessively, or in large quantities, especially if it's followed by repeated vomiting, lethargy, or signs of pain, it's time to call the vet. Similarly, if the grass has been treated with pesticides or herbicides, it can be toxic. Always be mindful of where your dog is grazing, and when in doubt, err on the side of caution. Ultimately, the reason your dog eats grass is probably as unique as they are. It could be instinct, digestion, nutrition, boredom, or just plain curiosity. The key is to observe them, not just what they're eating, but when, how, and how they seem to feel afterward. Your dog might not be able to tell you in words why they're doing it, but if you pay close attention, their behavior will often give you the clues you need. Have you noticed your dog eating grass in a specific situation? Share your story in the comments. Let's decode our pets' quirks together. And if you want to understand more hidden behaviors, subscribe to Pet Mind Reader for weekly insights into what your animals are really thinking.